everyone. In today's YouTube video, we are going to be 3D printing and painting and sanding and assembling my full Ironman suit. And this video is going to be broken up into two parts because while I was recording some of the bits, the video was starting to get really long. And so in today's video will be the priming, sanding, and starting paint part of the video. And then next weekend, we will release the actual painting and putting together part of the Ironman suit video. So everyone, thank you for tuning in and watching. It's been a long time since my last video, and not just since my last YouTube short, but my last YouTube video as a whole. And so thanks for tuning back in to Finja Industries, and hope you enjoy this video. Okay, so in part one of this video, I think I covered that the files that I used for this suit were from Do 3D, but for this project, for the legs of the suit, I printed everything in Hatchbox PLA. They're the sponsor of this video, and they provided me with enough filament to print all the leg pieces I needed, and the PLA that they sent me just printed beautifully and it sanded perfectly. And so there'll be a link in the description, so make sure to go buy some Hatchbox PLA because they're an awesome filament brand. Okay, so at this point I started printing some of the shins to the Ironman suit, and the shins have a lot of detail pieces, and so I just kind of taped them to the side or was just kind of pushing them around to see how they'd fit. And then I moved on to printing the thigh. I'd already printed the knees a few years back, and so all I needed was the actual parts of the legs. And so the thigh and the shin, they were all looking great when they were printing. And so then once they were printed, I started sanding the shin, and the shin was sanding super nice. And I took this video here kind of showing that the top piece that was printed in Hatchbox filament was sanding way better and way easier than the bottom part of the shin that was printed in just some standard PLA that I had laying around. And so you can't fully see in this frame because I took a video in like vertical mode instead of horizontal mode, but this piece was just sanding absolutely perfect. And so after I moved on to the other piece, which was printed in just standard PLA, I got sanding it and it was not doing nearly as well. And so alright, so I just got these little Hobby Lobby sewing buckles hot glued into either side of these abs, and I hot glued this one plate to the left side of the abs, and then put positive and negative belt buckles or more like backpack buckles on here. And so when I suit up and then get unsuited, I can just clip these in and then have someone else unclip them once I'm done. And then I still got two more that I will have buckle into that. And then I just did a fit test with this system and it all fits me good. So now I'm gonna hot glue in these buckles into this, and these are the spring systems that I have put in so that I'll have hopefully really good mobility for the abs once I have it all put together. And sorry if you couldn't hear perfectly during this video. I have my right part of the shin printing. And while I was getting ready to hot glue these together, I figured I'd look at the action figure from ZD Toys that I have and show you guys how this bottom ab plate sits a little bit below the rest of it. And so once I hot glue this all in, I'm gonna have about this second to last panel be at the very bottom so that it'll sit a little bit lower and be more accurate to the figure. Alright, so here's the abs after I glued on the next set of pieces. And so hopefully it'll all work out so that I can just pull this piece on and then clip these in. And then eventually, like I said a little bit ago, I still have one piece left. And so that once I get all these clipped in, I'll put another one at the top. They'll buckle into the chest, and so that there's no more of that. So I'll still be able to bend using all these springs, but it won't fall off. Even if something gets unbuckled, there'll still be a buckle at the top so that it doesn't fall off. All right, I got it all buckled in, and it all stands. And yeah, this can move. Yeah, everything's buckled in. There's a little bit of a gap here, which I'm not super happy about, but I'm so happy it fits. We're 2 weeks out from when I have to have this all done. And so I have both legs printed, the other thigh pieces in my room. I have the cod printed. I had it all taped up for an Instagram story, but I just now started sanding it with the new sander. And yep, the cod fits pretty dang good, I'm pretty sure. And then started sanding this hand piece with this. This has been done in a while, been done for a while, as I showed in a video a little bit ago. Just some random pieces of the shin. Here's a shoulder piece that we've got sanded down. And then this chest piece is kind of obsolete since we're not going to be using that one in the end. Here's another shoulder piece. And then some knee pieces, chest pieces, ab pieces that we're sanding down. And then here's a forearm that we have in the early stage of painting, because it's pretty smooth. I feel like the video camera might not be showing it great, but it's all going pretty good. If I sounded a little groggy, it's because I'm a little sick right now, but still gotta make do, because this is gotta be done in 2 weeks as of right now, I'm pretty sure. Okay, another little video update. I got both of the blade hands printed, and I printed the one hand piece that I'd been missing. So if you don't know about this suit, it has like blades that extend from the hands, and so this blade will just kind of lay like that, obviously a better angle, but and then here's a hand piece that I've had printed for a really long time and I've started sanded, but they'll both just kind of hang like that. And then I'll use some of the buckles that I've used on everything else so far, these, and I'll put one end right there, and I'll put the other end like right about there, and so it just buckles right in, and then it'll stand still. So while I was printing these, this print actually got a little bit warped up at the top, and so what I did for the second blade is I taped it down. But while I was printing the first blade, and then I pulled the after I pulled the support off, like all the support came off in just one piece. I can kind of recreate, like, this support that I pulled off came off so clean and in one piece that I can almost put it back together. It was so satisfying. I just picked it up, and so tree supports are awesome. It saved me a lot of time. These blades, they took about 15 hours each, which isn't amazing, but it's not too bad. So today is March 8th, and we are working pretty much all day, I think, to sand and prime everything. I got this thigh plastic welded back together We're working on sanding everything and then hopefully getting some primer down. This is the piece that warped up, and so hopefully we can melt it back down to shape with a heat gun and then knock down these layer lines, top layering with our sander. And after my dad normally hits everything with this, which does really good, like some of this stuff is getting really smooth. So normally my dad will knock everything like that's a big platform down with the sander, and then I'll just use some sandpaper to clean up like some of the little spaces. Like the automatic sander can't get in between there, so I gotta kind of fold up a piece of sandpaper and cramming it down in there. And then, but everything is looking way smoother than any of my projects before because we just bought this new sander and it's working so well. I don't have a great example right now of how well it's working, but like some of these pieces, this is the shoulder, obviously. It's a ton of different pieces, but it's all gonna look so good. The only problem is the sander can get going a little faster than it should sometimes and either like completely delete some of these details. Like there's a line here that's supposed to be pretty important because it's what technically separates like a paint line. And so I tried to go in with this little pick kinda and redefine that detail that I lost, but it's not going great. So we'll just have to maybe guesstimate where the paint lines are, and then hopefully some Bondo will fix these little burns that the sander did when it got going too fast. Because I mean, I could shape it up to just be some battle damage, but I really would like to make this suit look as clean as I can because no one's ever really done this suit before. And so if I can do it perfectly, like this is not a good example of a perfect piece, obviously. There's some like shininess, but down here there's like, I mean, I might shape this up to be battle damage right here or like rust or something, but I really want this all to be as perfect as I can. And obviously this old chest plate, it's just going to be for test fittings at my house and stuff now that Fuzzy Shovel is printing the real one. And so I think I'm going to hot glue these pieces back onto the chest plate for a test fitting later today, just to make sure everything fits nicely with the abs, because I haven't really technically ever in a few years tried on the abs and the chest plate all at the same time. And then I think I already talked about the cod. I got it all printed and it's in 4 pieces, obviously. Now that I'm talking about it, I think I remember saying something about it. So, but these are the cod pieces, and actually here's a really good example of how well the sanding's going. Like the cod at least is going to be pretty perfectionist. I know that's not a word, but pretty perfect. So I'm working on defining these details too because they got burnt down a little bit, but I'm so excited. I still got to sand these little leg pieces, but on the other part of them, they're sanded. So that was a lot of rambling, but today, Saturday, March 8th, about 6 days exactly from when I'm leaving for my trip before the con. So by 6 days from now, I need everything painted, and it's not that much of a stretch. Like when I was in December thinking about trying to do the full suit, it seemed completely impossible. And so it's so crazy that I've made it this far already, and now I'm just a primer and a few paints away from being done. But I can show you, I kind of forgot, but I'm working on this forearm piece. Just did the chrome a little bit ago, and I laid the silver down on this before we had the new sanding machine. So this one, it won't be perfect, but it's gonna be better than the other forearm because the other forearm was done a long time ago, and that's when I was like, I didn't even care that much about sanding yet. So we will get everything started together today. Maybe some Bondo, even more sanding, and then hopefully primer. and then I'll update you guys with another video once all the primer is done. All right, so it's later the same day. We got every single piece welded together, no duct tape, sanded, I mean almost everything, primed. Y'all, this can's empty. We've been spraying all day. Like, a ton of these pieces are so smooth. I mean, there's a few flaws, but I think we're making literally record time, and we're gonna have, not to brag, but it's gonna be good. I just put down some primer on the shin. I don't think it's wet, so I'm gonna pick it up and spin it around. It's looking really good. Like, I mean, especially like right there, there's no layer lines and stuff. So I'm using these two cans to help it balance, because it wants to fall over in about every single direction. But here's some little detail pieces. I literally just sprayed that one. But what's so nice about these tiny detail pieces is that you can pretty much just soak them in primer, and then it'll like even itself out and fill in all your layer lines, especially the way some of these pieces are, where they just fit perfectly into a space and you'll only ever see one side of them. You don't have to like constantly be flipping it over and stuff. You just spray one side, soak it as much as you want, and they'll even out. And then once I put it in there, even though I sanded in there and it's super smooth, I did not sand this because I wasn't going to make the same mistake twice. But now once I put it in there, it'll look super good because that filler primer evened it out for me. So I still got to paint everything, obviously, but today was all about filler primer, and the stuff we bought is just working so good. I can't believe the amount of progress we made today. This morning I was waking up and I was like, there's no way we're going to get all this primer down and have it look good. But the Rust-Oleum filler primer that we got is working miracles. It's making this project turn out so much faster, and it's exactly what we need. So, yep, I'm pretty sure that's it for today's videos series. I think I showed you guys pretty much all the pieces in primer stage, but tomorrow we'll probably lay primer on these because we're making really good progress on sanding. And I still need to use a heat gun. Where is it? It's like somewhere down there, our heat gun. But I still need to warp this back to straight. But this one, we've been sanding it slowly. And like all this top layering is just slowly vanishing. Like you can't feel it, you can see it. But this blade is gonna turn out so good. But one thing I can talk about too to keep this video going is I was working on this forearm piece, and I thought that how these cans work was just you buy a new one and then it starts working. But what I think it actually is you buy the new can and it's in a warm temperature, and then you spray it and it works good. And then slowly you keep it out in the garage and it gets cold and starts spraying just like horribly. And so that's what happened over there. So someone online told me that I need to run it under warm water before I use it, or like even put it in a bucket of hot water, because it really needs to be warm when I spray it. So hopefully, I mean, I have so many cans of this paint that I've gone through. Like there's one in the corner over there. If I come over here to my bucket of paints, like, oh, there's another one there. I bought so many of these cans thinking that you can't leave them in the garage or else they'll go bad. But hopefully it's just you have to run them over warm water, because like this is kind of an example of how crappy the paint can get if you just spray it bad. And I do not want my suit to look all like this, because that's not very reflective. Like on that piece, I can't see my finger's reflection. And like on the paint can example, I can see my reflection. And I have some pieces in the house that when I put my finger up to them, the reflection is like perfect. So hopefully I can run this under hot water and then get some perfect results. So talk to you guys tomorrow when this is done sanding and we have primer on it. All right, here's a little video update. This morning, it's Sunday the 9th, I believe, and so 5 days out. I just kind of rigged up the helmet because I've had this helmet made for a long time, and it's not very it's not a good helmet. There's stuff glued together, hot glued together. There's like cracks in it that are taped together. Like, I don't think you could see in there, but that, like, this whole section of the helmet is just taped to this part. And so, and plus this faceplate, like, the paint job on the faceplate isn't bad. There's a gap in the middle, which kind of annoys me, but like from afar you don't really notice it. But so here's the magnet system and light system I got rigged up. So I hot glued everything so it won't fall out, and I put rafts. I did this on a Starboost helmet a long time ago, and it worked really well. Well, pretty well. So I tried again, and why I brought duct tape down here just now is because, like, whenever I go like this, it looks good, and like there's a gap there, a gap there, but it could be worse. But the magnets, they're like hot glued pretty weakly, and so what I think I'm gonna do is just take some duct tape and tape over the wires so that they don't get pushed up in front of the eyes during a photo shoot, and then tape over the magnets. So I think I can tape over them and then still have them like retain their magnetic strength, and I'll tape over everything, like all the magnets. And so I think they'll still click together, just they won't fall off, because there's been a few times where I click it on and then I pull it off and then the magnets are gone. But how I did the like lining the magnets up pretty well is I put the rafts, hot glued the rafts in first, and then hot glued like one magnet, and then I was going like this to make sure that all the magnets were facing the same way. And then once I got all the magnets glued down, I put more magnets up there and then put a blob of hot glue on top of each. And then I just put the helmet, the faceplate down like that, and then pushed pretty hard, and then even went around through the back part and pushed this up. And now, like, they're not very strong, but they're super accurate, like lined up. And then obviously after I did it for that side, I did it for that side too. It's just the same process. So a little bit of a look at the back plate. Like I said, each piece of this helmet is scaled differently, because when I made it, I was not paying attention, and like I wasn't taking this suit very seriously, I don't think. And so that's why, like, when you look at the bicep, there's a lot of like little paint cracks in the chrome, and like all around here it's like super uneven. It'll be like blue chrome, blue chrome, blue chrome, because I didn't really know like if I should make it all chrome or all blue. Like, there's even some inconsistency on this one too, but that's all right. So this helmet though, the back plate is too big, and so like, there's a big gap here because it's too big for this, and so it won't fit perfectly in there. And so what I thought would be a good solution is I put a buckle in the back of the helmet. But what I didn't account for is when I actually had this main part of the helmet on, with the faceplate on especially, like, I cannot find that buckle in the back of my helmet. I'll be like trying to find it, but I just can't. And then also, whenever I have to take the helmet off, I don't know how I'm gonna shimmy my hand up in that tiny space and then unbuckle it. So I might pull the hot glue off of the buckles and take them out and exchange them for some more of these magnets, because I think I got 12 left. I think I got 12 left, which is the like exact count of how much I need for this. And so I could do the same system back there if I want. But I'm just worried that these magnets aren't going to be strong enough to support back there, because even when I put these on, like up here, I'm kind of worried about when I'm talking that this will move around. So these magnets aren't the strongest thing, but it'll work for the con. It'll look good, and I'll be able to pull the faceplate off, and it's like self-contained to eat and stuff, which is pretty dang sick. And so that's gonna be it for this part of the video, but not maybe today's video, because all the primered pieces are in my garage, and I might do a base layer of silver today, depending on how smooth everything is. And so I'll update you guys if I do a layer of silver today. Alright, a little video update. Here's the arms. So I actually just recently figured out that this metal cast, the metal cast works so much better when you use it after it's been sitting in the sun. I think my problem with metal cast in the past giving me like crappy results is that I was using the can in winter in the cold. And so, I mean, it's still not perfect, but like this forearm piece that I just sprayed is looking way better than this splotchy one bicep. And so I think that looks pretty good. We're outside, obviously, natural lighting, and so I feel pretty confident about the metal cast blue finally. But tonight, me and my dad, we did Bondo to fill in all the gap lines, and I'm a little nervous about this Bondo because in some spots after we've put it down, it's cracking, which really scares me because I don't have time to really redo this if it all flakes off. But I think it'll be fine because I've used this before and it didn't crack off, but I was mixing acetone with it. But we'll have this be a little experiment and really pray it doesn't flake off. But I mean, so what the plan is, we did Bondo just now. I'm gonna let it dry, and then I'm gonna sand it and then prime it, and then we just bought another thing of Krylon silver, and so I'll prime it after I sand it and then do silver. So I was a little bit of a broken record there, just repeating, but I think we'll be ready to do blue or chrome tomorrow if everything goes to plan, because like I did a test fitting last night, everything fits good, everything looks pretty smooth once these gap lines are filled in. We have a plan to use a file, like a nail file pretty much, to redefine the detail lines that were lost by the Bondo. Like there's a lot of spots that have deep lines that got covered up by Bondo, but if we use the file like we're planning on, I'm so glad we're doing Bondo, because that's gonna literally make this piece like permanent, like flawless. I was almost thinking about having to redo some of these pieces after the con, but the way this Bondo is setting up, I think after the con, I might do a few last tweaks just to like get ready for anything in the future. But after that, it's all gonna be done. So what I'm trying to do is keep the pieces out of the sun. The time just changed, so the sun's going down way later, and that means like if we have the garage door open like we do right now, some of my pieces will be in the sun, which really is vulnerable to warping, which is so scary because that's what happened on the chest piece over there, is it warped. but that was a few summers ago, so it was way hotter then. It was like 100-degree temperatures, but I'm trying to keep everything out of the sun so nothing warps. Okay, here's another little video segment. Here's all the fingers that we have primer on. I just laid down primer on a lot of these, so I can't put silver down tonight, but I have them glued down to popsicle sticks. I might have shown the popsicle sticks in an earlier video, but all 20 fingers right here. Okay, here's what might be the last video before we start putting blue on everything. We have silver on everything right now. Just this Fusion Krylon silver, not the chrome silver. And everything's looking really good. But tonight's Tuesday, so we have literally 2 nights left. 1 night for the blue and 1 night for the chrome. So run it down to the wire. So okay, so that's gonna be it for this video. But like I said in the beginning of the video, there will be another video releasing next Saturday, and that one will be the full in-depth experience of painting and then wearing the suit for the first time to the con. And then a little bit also Friday night, me and my friend Foley Shovel, or Nathaniel, we pretty much pieced together all of the strapping parts of the suit in the hotel on Friday night from like 8 p.m. to like 2 a.m. So I'll have a little bit of content from that night on next weekend's video, and then a little bit of photos and stuff like that from the con, and then some after con, after suit up stuff, like putting the suit together at home on a stand, and then just kind of going over the strapping some more while it's at home. I can actually go into full depth. And so that video will be out next weekend. Make sure you tune in. And then from this weekend, make sure to like, subscribe, go follow the Instagram. Everything is Finja Industries, so that's pretty obviously, you can just swipe down, see it, or it's F1NNJA and then Industries. So make sure, share this video with your friends, like, comment, whatever. So see you in the next video next weekend.